Hi, today I'd like to show you a new way to program with blocks that we've discovered and that we've been working on in Snap. It's a new way to play interactively with live blocks with a programming language that is both a user interface to programming, but also a user interface to exploring things around you like data. In Snap, we can look at datasets, for example, at comma-separated values that we've downloaded somewhere. Here is one I've shown a lot. It's the dataset of the Titanic passengers. And so when we import a CSV into Snap, it becomes a variable, and we can see the columns and the rows, and we can take these and we can filter. For example, this we can say we want to keep the passengers from the Titanic who are who are female. So that's the fourth column. So we can say the item 4 is female. So now when I click on this, I'm getting the 314 females on the Titanic. And I can turn this into a block. So I can make a block. It's going to be in the other category, a reporter. I'm going to call it drill down data for a column. And I want to provide some detail. So now I'm specifying data to be my list or my table, and I also want column to be an input and detail. And so now that I've got the block, here's how I want to use it. I want to drill down the Titanic for the class for all people who are traveling in the second class. Now it doesn't do anything, but I already know what to do. I'm going to take this expression here into my block editor, and I need to put the data into the data slot. The detail is going to be the thing that's going to be in here. And now I need to know the index of the column. And so in these CSVs, the first row has the column heads. So the first item of the data is going to be the names of the columns. So I can say I want to get the index of the column in the first line, and this is the number that's going in here. Okay, let's try this out. So now I'm going to drill down the Titanic for everybody in second class. I can also drill down everybody in first class, and I can drill down other things, like I can drill down whether they survived. But here's one thing: when exploring data sets, I'd like to know the names of the columns, what to drill down. So it'd be nice to have a drop-down menu here that would let me select the features of the data set. So here's the new thing that we've been thinking about. What if this block were something like an object that we could also program how it interacts with the user? So here's the input of the column, and I can specify a menu. But the menus that are built into Snap, they don't help me, because what's going to be shown in this menu is dependent on the data. It's not going to be dependent on what's inside Snap. So I want to script this. I want a dynamic menu. I want to write a script. So now there is a menu here, but it doesn't yet do anything. And here's a new set of blocks, a new block that says when the slot signals a menu, and I can select the slot when the column slot signals a menu. I can now report a list of what is going to be in that menu. And so what's going to be in that list? I want to get all the names of the column. So these are in the first row of the data set. So I want to report this. Let's try this out. So now, whenever I click on this menu, all the inputs here become evaluated. And so I can now see, the data set of the Titanic has these fields. If I don't have anything in here, it doesn't give me anything. So it scans the Titanic for what's ever in here. So now I can see, okay, I want to get, for example, the names. Or I can get the age. But it'll be interesting also now to know which details I can drill down for. So let's do the same thing with details. Here's another trick. I don't have to specify an input slot to be a scripted menu. I can just drag this block in here. I can say when the slot detail signals for a menu, I also want to report a list of things to choose from. So I'm going to report the unique values of the item of the name column of the columns of the data. Let's try this out. So now, when there's the age, I'm getting all the available ages. When there's the class, I'm getting all the available classes. And when I've got the fare, I'm getting all the available fares. And it works. I can drill down anybody who paid £39. Now, one last thing to do. Now I'm selecting a fare. Now if I select the gender, I'm still getting the fare. If I click on this, I'm getting an empty list. So I want to, whenever I select a different column, I want to automatically also fill this slot. And this is the last thing I can do. So when I say when the slot column doesn't signal menu, but signals that it has been edited, I want to set the contents of the other slot, the contents of the detail slot, to something that makes sense. And in this case, it would be the first item of whatever is in that column. And so I could do this. Let's try this out. So now if I select survived, I'm already getting a valid entry here. When I select the gender, I'm getting a valid entry here. So the last thing I want to do is, now when I drill down for all the males, I'm getting all the males, but I'm cutting off the first entry that has the column heads. And I actually don't want to cut that off. In fact, I want to get this first line and always prepend it to my result. So now, whenever I'm getting, for example, all the females, I'm still getting the column names in here. And now I can actually do a drill down. Like of all the 888 passengers, I can get all the females. I can further drill them down by just sticking these blocks together. Because all the input slots get evaluated in here, I can now drill down the females for the ones that have survived. And those are less. And I can drill down the females that have survived for the ones that were traveling in the third class. Those are even less, like 73. And I could drill down those even further to, let's say, the ones whose age was 22. And then I'm down to 8 females whose age was 22, traveled in third class, survived, and were females on the Titanic. Isn't this great? A new interactive way to work with data, block that reacts to not the contents of what's in Snap, but to the contents of the data that it analyzes. And so here's the nice thing. So we've now done this for the dataset of the Titanic, but this is generic. When I take another data set, for example, the data set of the billionaires, the Forbes billionaires, and I got this from the Corgus data set. I can explore this. So I can take the billionaires, and now I'm getting the fields that are in that data set. And for example, here's a field of the year. And I can drill down for the year. So I want to drill down for the year 2014. And now I'm getting all the data from 2014. And I can drill down further. I can, again, pipe these together. I can drill down the ones from 2014 to, let's say, for the sector in which it's in. And the sector wouldn't be real estate, but let's say the sector would be software. And now I'm getting all the software billionaires. Then I want to drill down the software billionaires for, let's say, the gender, and I want to get all the females in software billionaires. And turns out it's just one. It's Eva Maria Bucher-Heffner. So, a new way to work with data. We now have this thing that inside the block editor, we can have special hat blocks. Hat blocks that react to user interaction with this instance of a custom block and reacts to changes in an input slot and also lets us produce dynamic menus. We're very excited about this. Enjoy.